The rain hammered against the windows of our Chicago brownstone, a relentless rhythm that mirrored the turmoil brewing inside me. My name is Barnaby, and until recently my life was a carefully constructed symphony of order and happiness. At 44, I was a successful architect, designing sustainable homes that blended seamlessly with the urban landscape. My wife, Annelise, was a vibrant kindergarten teacher, her laughter a constant melody in our lives. We had been married for 15 years, a testament, I thought, to our unwavering love and commitment. It started subtly, almost imperceptibly. Annalise began working late, explaining it away with new curriculum initiatives and demanding parents. I, ever the supportive husband, would have dinner waiting, a warm bath drawn, and a listening ear ready for her to unload the day's stresses. Looking back, I see the cracks forming, the subtle shifts in her demeanor, the way she avoided my gaze when I asked about her day. But I was blinded by love, by trust, by the assumption that our bond was unbreakable. The first real sign, the earthquake that shattered my reality, came in the form of a misplaced scarf. A silk scarf, not hers. Annalise favored cotton and linen, practical fabrics for a kindergarten classroom. This scarf was a vibrant crimson, a splash of color that screamed luxury and extravagance. I found it crumpled at the bottom of her closet, hidden beneath a pile of sweaters. Where did this come from? I asked, holding it up as she got ready for work the next morning. She froze, her usual cheerful demeanor replaced by a flicker of something I couldn't quite decipher. "Oh, that," she stammered, "that's a gift from a parent. One of the kids drew on it, so I put it away." The lie was clumsy, unconvincing. I wanted to believe her desperately, but the seed of doubt had been planted, and it began to take root, sending tendrils of suspicion through my mind. I decided to do something I never thought I was capable of. I checked her phone. Not in a blatant, obvious way. I waited until she was asleep, her breathing deep and even, and then, with trembling hands, I unlocked it using her fingerprint. I told myself it was for the good of our marriage, that I needed to quell the rising tide of anxiety before it consumed me. The messages were there, a torrent of intimate exchanges with a man named Quentin. Quentin, who I later discovered was the new music teacher at her school. The messages spanned weeks, filled with declarations of love, clandestine meetings, and promises of a future together. I read them, each word a knife twisting in my gut, a brutal assault on my soul. I felt a wave of nausea, a physical manifestation of the betrayal that was unfolding before my eyes. The world seemed to tilt on its axis, the familiar landscape of my life suddenly distorted and unrecognizable. I stumbled back, collapsing onto the bed, the phone clattering to the floor. Annalise stirred, but I pretended to be asleep, my heart pounding in my chest like a trapped bird. The next few days were a blur of shock and disbelief. I went through the motions of my life, designing buildings, attending meetings, but I was merely a shell, a hollow echo of the man I once was. I couldn't bring myself to confront Annalise, not yet. I needed time to process, to gather my thoughts, to decide what to do. I confided in my best friend, Emmett, a landscape architect who had been my rock since childhood. He listened patiently as I recounted the story, his face hardening with each detail. "You have to confront her, Barnaby," he said, his voice firm. "You deserve the truth, so I did." I waited for Annalise to come home from work, the crimson scarf clutched in my hand. "We need to talk," I said, my voice trembling despite my best efforts to remain composed. She looked at me, her eyes wide with apprehension. "What is it, Barnaby?" I held out the scarf. "This. Where did it come from, Annalise? Don't lie to me." Her face crumpled and the tears began to flow. I can explain," she sobbed. "Explain what?" "Explain how you've been betraying me for weeks. Explain how you've been lying to my face." My voice rose, fueled by a mixture of anger and hurt. She confessed everything, the affair with Quentin, the stolen moments, the whispered promises. She claimed it was a mistake, a lapse in judgment, that she still loved me. But her words rang hollow, devoid of sincerity. The trust was gone, shattered beyond repair. "I want a divorce," I said, the words feeling like shards of glass in my mouth. She pleaded, she begged, she promised to change. But I was done. The woman I loved, the woman I thought I knew, was gone, replaced by a stranger, a deceiver, a betrayer. The divorce was messy, acrimonious. Annelise fought for everything, clinging to the life we had built together. But I was resolute. I wanted nothing more than to be free of her, to erase her from my life. As I began to piece my life back together, I discovered a different side to Quentin. He wasn't just a music teacher. He was a predator, a serial adulterer who preyed on vulnerable women. He had a string of affairs, leaving a trail of broken hearts and shattered lives in his wake. I felt a surge of anger, not just at Annelise but at Quentin, for his callous disregard for the sanctity of marriage, for the pain he had inflicted on so many innocent people. I decided to take action. I contacted the other women Quentin had been involved with, sharing my story and encouraging them to come forward. Together, we exposed him, revealing his true nature to the school board, who promptly fired him. His reputation was ruined, his career in tatters. It wasn't revenge, not exactly. It was about justice, about protecting other women from falling victim to his manipulative charm. In the aftermath of the divorce, I threw myself into my work, designing homes that were not just aesthetically pleasing, but also sanctuaries, places of peace and security. I found solace in the creative process, in the act of building something beautiful and enduring. One day, I received a letter from a woman named Lilou. She was Quentin's ex-wife. She had read about the scandal in the local paper and wanted to thank me for exposing him. We met for coffee, and I found myself drawn to her quiet strength and resilience. We talked for hours, sharing our stories of betrayal and healing. Over time, Lilou and I grew closer, our shared experiences forging a bond that transcended friendship. We found comfort in each other's company, a safe space to navigate the complexities of our pasts. Eventually, we fell in love. It wasn't a whirlwind romance, but a slow, steady burn, a quiet understanding that grew stronger with each passing day. We built a life together, a life based on honesty, trust, and mutual respect. Annelise, on the other hand, did not fare so well. After losing her job, she spiraled into a depression, struggling to cope with the consequences of her actions. I heard through mutual friends that she had moved away, seeking a fresh start. I felt a pang of sadness for her, but also a sense of relief that she was no longer a part of my life. Looking back, I realized that the affair, as devastating as it was, ultimately led me to a better place. It forced me to confront my own vulnerabilities, to redefine my values, and to find love in the most unexpected of places. The rain still falls in Chicago, but now, when I hear it drumming against the windows, I no longer feel the same sense of turmoil. Instead, I feel a sense of peace, a quiet gratitude for the life I have built, a life filled with love, honesty, and the unwavering support of the woman I cherish. Betrayal can shatter you, but it can also be a catalyst for growth, a painful but necessary step on the path to healing and self-discovery.